Now, I've done a lot of self-sabotaging in my past relationships as a former fearful avoidant, and I am not proud of it. But here are 5 signs that you are most likely sabotaging your relationship right now because of your fearful avoidant tendencies. And really quickly, if you're unsure of what your attachment style is or you want to learn more in depth about it, go ahead and take my free attachment style quiz, link in the description below, and watch my playlist on the different types of attachment styles to see which one suits you the best. Sign number 1, you overanalyze every single little thing. Now, the trauma response name for this is called hypervigilance, and what's actually happening is because we have fears and wounds of abandonment, of feeling too vulnerable, of getting too close and not being able to trust our partner, we start to self-sabotage and actually analyze other people's moves so that we can possibly protect ourselves. Our brain goes, if I can figure out whether or not they still care about me, if they actually are still interested and I can see their next step and I can be certain of how they feel, then I feel more in control, then I feel safer because knowing helps me feel safe. And so every text you're analyzing, what does this mean? Everything that they're saying, you're wondering, do they still like me? Did they act weird, or did they change their body language or tone of voice because I did something wrong? So if you notice, it becomes this constant back and forth in your mind trying to protect yourself and overthink every single little thing. And it can feel so exhausting, especially when you're just trying to live in the present moment, but you keep thinking about every worst case scenario. And oftentimes this hypervigilance can make your partner feel as if you don't trust them. And the truth is, it's not that you do not trust them, it's that you do not trust love in general is safe. And so what you want to do is make sure that you rewire to your nervous system that this connection is safe, that you are in control, that you can set boundaries. Okay, sign yourself sabotaging. Number 2, you shut down when things get too close. So if you ever get into a relationship, you most likely have this very intense amount of love where you want to connect with them right away, maybe even want to share your trauma, what happened, how they are in the first place, because you love deep and authentic connection. Comment down below if this is resonating so far. But what ends up happening is that as the relationship starts to progress, you start to want to pull away because you notice that now there is emotions involved. Now you are emotionally invested and you actually care and like them. And so love still does not feel safe to you because, as we mentioned before, you have a dysregulated relationship with love. You see it as danger. You see it as unpredictability and as something that is not given to you safely. And so what most likely happens is that those times where you feel hypervigilant or you notice that something's off, you might immediately shut down, you might withdraw, you might become cold, you might become distant, and your partner is left confused, wondering what happened. I thought we were good. But in reality, you feel as if something changed or something's wrong, and so you pull away to protect yourself. But the truth is, while this might feel like temporary protection, it's only preventing you from getting that love and that deep connection that you truly desire. The key is to learn how to feel safe in vulnerability and not associate it to a loss of control. So this means understanding how to feel safe with your emotions and understanding how to emotionally regulate. Sign number 3 that you're sabotaging this relationship is that you start to test your partner. As we mentioned before, vulnerability feels like a loss of control for you. And so instead of gauging the reaction and knowing they still care and love you by being vulnerable and communicating directly, we resort to testing behaviors, which could look like, number 1, being passive aggressive, trying to see whether or not they still care about you, but acting like you don't care so that they can show you first. Number 2, this can also be testing your partner and see if they get jealous if you talk about someone else, if you maybe flirt with someone else. Now, this is a little bit more toxic than the previous one that I mentioned. They're all unhealthy, but to this degree, we're intentionally hurting your partner, which is not okay. Number 3, another testing behavior, games, manipulation, asking questions to gauge your partner's reaction, shutting down, seeing how they react if we act a certain way. And this is all acting as if we don't care or asking questions to gauge their reaction, hoping that they'll answer a very specific way. And if you've done any of those TikTok questions before that rage bait your partner, I think the recent one was, would you find me pretty if I had an identical twin sister and they looked exactly like me? Like, would you find them pretty? Don't get me wrong. If this type of dynamic is good in your relationship, then that's okay. However, if you are actually getting upset asking these questions and testing your partner, and if they don't answer a specific way, you get mad at them, then this is a protest behavior, and this is an unhealthy dynamic in your relationship, because you still have wounds and fears that you are trying to fulfill through your partner, but in an unfair manner because you are testing them. Rather than getting that security and reassurance through testing, understand that you can get reassurance through vulnerable and healthy love. This testing behavior comes from a place of wanting to have your partner prove themselves that they still love you, when in reality, in a healthy relationship, it is not about constantly proving our worth or proving ourselves to show this love. It's knowing and trusting and being secure in the way that we're showing up for each other. Number 3 was a bit of a long one, but moving on to number 4, this is when we start to feel guilty for wanting love in our relationship. The thing about the fearful avoidant attachment style is that love actually does not feel safe because we have a negative relationship to emotions. We most likely saw it as unpredictable, weak, a burden, something that we can get hurt. And so in order to protect ourselves, we go into shutdown mode and tell ourselves, it's not a big deal. I don't care about them anyways. It's fine. Maybe it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. And we tend to look for the red flags to try to feel safe and lessen the blow if things were to get wrong. And so it's this idea that, if I don't care as much, then I wouldn't get as hurt. But the truth is, it's not caring that hurts you. It's not knowing how to navigate your emotions and set healthy boundaries. It's this fear of losing yourself in love. Because you love so intensely, you go all in. And so you're afraid that if you do that and you get hurt, then you'll be dumb or stupid, or you should have known better. And if this sounds like you, this is your reminder that you're safe, that you are in control, and you can set healthy boundaries in your relationship. It doesn't have to be a all or nothing, and it doesn't have to be losing yourself in this relationship because you feel love. Instead of looking for that escape plan and having one foot out the door, take a second to be in this present moment and focus on how we can navigate these situations together and grow a healthy relationship, which is essentially what you deep down desire. And number 5, the 5th thing that you're doing to sabotage your relationship is that you are confusing peace with boredom. Now, this is actually a concept that I talked about 5 years ago on my TikTok, and it blew up, which is why I want to bring it back again, because I think a lot of people realized that day that a healthy relationship isn't always chaos, ups and downs, and yelling and screaming and passion. And for a fearful avoidant, that is what love looks like. It's seeing the unpredictability. It's wanting to chase and prove the love, and this intense up and down because love was always chaotic. It's this constant feeling of sacrificing yourself to prove your love and to show these romantic and grand gestures. But the truth is, healthy love isn't always ups and downs. It's having your nervous system feel regulated with your partner and trusting that this mundane day-to-day lifestyle is aligning with what fulfills you. Now, if you notice, I put all of that in quotes because your healthy relationship is most likely not feeling boring or mundane. It just might be perceived that way when you get into a routine of things. But the truth is, understanding the difference between chaos and passion and proving yourself and constant jealousy or control in a relationship, all of that has so many ups and downs, and that is not healthy. That is not normal. That is not something that we want in a relationship. But when we are so familiar with that feeling and those intense highs and lows, when we get the opposite of that, and when we're finally in a healthy relationship where we feel at peace, where our nervous system is not questioning whether or not they still love us or not, whether or not they're going to be the same person as they were yesterday, it feels off. It feels weird. And we might see it as like, well, this is boring. There's no ups and downs. There's no chaotic moment. Like, I'm so used to the intensity that what's going on here? But the truth is, that is stability. And if you allow your body to get used to and familiar with this peace, then you will understand that this relationship will bring you so much comfort, so much safety, a place that you can call home, and a place where you can actually thrive, because it's really hard to thrive in such a chaotic environment. But with that said, if you watched to the end, congrats. I am proud of you for taking that step and accountability on understanding your behaviors so you can build healthier relationships. And of course, if you want to understand how to regulate your nervous system, create healthier dynamics, be vulnerable, and set boundaries healthily in your relationships, book a clarity call. I'm happy to help you map out your next 2 to 3 steps so that you can break out of the cycle of toxic relationships. But with that said, comment down below which attachment style you'd like me to do next, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, you got this.